Today's topic is about simplification of context-free grammar. So we are going to remove the useless symbol from the CFG. So in that, the first step is to reduce the CFG grammar. We'll see how reduction of CFG is done. The simplification of CFG. So what is simplification of CFG is we are going to remove the unwanted productions and symbols from the context-free grammar. So why is it so? Is in the production of string for a particular context-free grammar, you may see that certain production rules or symbols that are been not needed. So there may be also some nulls productions and unit productions, which we will see how it will be reduced. So the simplification of context-free grammar consists of following steps, following process. One is reduction of context-free grammar. Another one is a removal of unit production, and third one is the removal of null production. So we will see today what is reduction of context-free grammar alone. So the reduction of context-free grammar. So you are going to identify the unwanted production rules that are available in the context-free grammar and unwanted terminal symbols that are available in the context-free grammar. There are two phases in the reduction of context-free grammar, phase 1 and phase 2. So this is the algorithm or procedure. So the phase 1 is, so we will try to find an equivalent grammar G dash for the given context-free grammar G, such that each variable will be deriving some string. So you will be trying to find the non-terminal symbols that are used to derive the terminal symbols. So what is the procedure for that? So we will follow some steps. We will follow the 4 steps here. The first step, we will try to include all the terminal symbols in W1. Sorry, it's not all the terminals. We will try to include all the non-terminals symbols in the W1 or WI. So that WI can derive some terminal symbols from the production rules. So simplest, if you are given 4 production rules, what are the terminal symbols that can be derived, and the related to that non-terminal variables will be stored in W1. So include all the symbols, that is include all the variables of WI plus 1 that can be derived from WI. So what is the previous step? What we have derived from WI, that is W1, that will be derived in W2. So we will repeat this step by incrementing the I value, and we will repeat again and again. So it will include all the production rules that we have in the context-free grammar. When there is no change in the W set creation, then we will stop the process. So what will be the phase 2 is? The phase 2 is we will, with the grammar what we have derived from phase 1, we will try to derive an equivalent grammar G double dash from G dash. So that G double dash will be containing each symbols that appear in a sentinel form. So what is the procedure for doing phase 2 is you will start your set production with start symbol S, and that will be your Y1. With Y1, what are the production non-terminal symbols we can derive, that will be included in Y2. So you will try to repeat the steps by incrementing I value until there is no change in the Y set. So we'll understand this how phase 1 and phase 2 works with the examples we'll be seeing shortly. So let us see how the given context-free grammar is being reduced. Okay, so first we'll write the context-free grammar or the production rules alone. So S tends to AB or 0, and the second one is A tends to 1. So here we'll start with the phase 1. So what is the phase 1 is we have to find out what are the terminal symbols we have. So the terminal symbols here is going to be 0 and 1. So we'll take 0 and 1 as our terminal symbol. Now we will form the first set W1. Find the non-terminal symbols that can derive the terminal symbols 0 and 1. So we will be having S, because S will be included because S can derive to terminal symbol 0 here. Secondly, we can also have A So which is A tends to 1. So for the given set of terminal symbols, there are two non-terminals that can derive the terminal symbols. Now we will find the second set W2 such that we are going to consider the non-terminal, that is the variable S and A, which can derive other variables. So which will try to derive other variable symbols. Okay, so which will try to derive other variable symbols. So what are the variable symbols we can derive over here is, so, and that should be available in W1. Okay, that should be available in W1. So S tends to AB and S tends to 0. You can see here it derives A, which is there in W1. A is in W1, but B is not in W1. So this production is not considered for my W2 set. Okay, but the second production is S tends to 0, where 0 is in our terminal set, so we will include S over here. The second production rule we have is A tends to 1. Okay, so here A is in W1. Okay, and 1 is also in the terminal set, so we will include A. So we can stop the process because when W2 is equal to W1, we can stop our process. So phase 1 is over. Now what is phase 2? So now phase 2 is, we will create a new set called Y1 with the start symbol. So you have to have with the start symbol. Before going to phase 2, what is the context free grammar that is derived from G? So here G dash, which is derived from phase 1, is which consists of two non-terminal variable S and A with the terminal symbols 0 and 1 with the production rule P and the start symbol S. So what will be the production rule here is, so we'll write the production rule for G dash. So the P will be consisting of only the two symbols, which is going to be S tends to 0 and A tends to 1. Why is it so? Because in our set we didn't have A implies B. Okay, so S tends to A imply A and B. So B is not in my set, so that production rule is omitted, which is a useless production for my reduced grammar. So now what is the phase 2 is, we have to try to derive all the non-terminal symbols from the start symbol. Then that are the productions that are useful for my derivation. So to find that, we will take Y1 is equal to S. So S is my start symbol. So we try to derive all the non-terminals that can be derived from S. So let us have Y2. So what is the symbol we can derive here is, so S tends to 0. So I will have a S. The second production rule is, it is 0. So you should include 0 also. So I have included 0 and 1. So the next one is, the next production rule is A. So we will have, so S and 0 is included with S implies 0. Then A and 1 is included with the production rule A is equal to 1. Now we will try to check whether do we have any change with Y2. So now with Y2, let me try to find with this grammar. So when you try to find, there will be no change, only same thing will be happening. So you will have 1. So Y3 is similar to Y2. So we have come to the conclusion. So the grammar that is reduced grammar G double dash, which is derived from the phase 2, is with the terminal variables non-terminal variables S and A and terminal symbols 0 and 1. Okay, then my start symbol S, and my production rule is S tends to 0 and A tends to 1. So this is my reduced grammar for the given context-free grammar. So let us see another example. So we will write the rules first separately so that we will understand how which is needed, which is not needed. So S tends to AC, S tends to B, then A tends to A, C tends to small c, or okay, we will write it separately. C tends to small c and C tends to capital B and capital C. E tends to AE, AA and E tends to small e. Okay, so this is the rule. So this is the context-free grammar we are given. So the G is going to be, and these are protection rules. Okay, so the context-free grammar is S, A, B, C and E. These are the variables or non-terminals. And what are the terminal symbols we have here? We have A, C and E. So the protection rule is P and your start symbol is S. Now phase 1. First find out what are the terminal symbols that can be derived over here. So that is from the grammar we know that it is going to be A and C and E. Now we will form the first W1. We will try to find which are the variables that can derive the terminal symbols A, C, E. So we'll start with S. S is not deriving any terminal symbols, so we don't have S over here. The second one is A is deriving, A implies small a, so we'll include the non-terminal variable A. Okay, so because we have A implies A. Then we have C, so C implies C over here. And then we have another protection, C implies capital B and capital C, which is not included. Then finally you can see E derives E and E derives AA. So A is already there in the set, so we'll derive E alone. So we will have C and E. So with these three productions, I have found the non-terminal variables which can produce the terminal symbols A, C, E. Now what is W2? So from W1 you have to choose the non-terminal variables that can produce other productions. So that is, it can be derived into other non-terminal variables. So we will find. So first A. So A tends to A alone, so there is no change in that. So we will leave that. So next one is C. You can see C derives C, so we will take C, but we will be not taking C implies BC. Why? Because B is not in W1. B is not in W1. So this production will not be considered, but C implies C will be considered. So you will have C over here. Next one is E. You can see A is already there. So E's and A are terminal symbols. So you will have E over here. Now which are the other productions that can produce the non-terminals A, C, E? You can see S implies AC. So A and C are in W1. So I can include the start symbol S over here. So I will write it over here. So S tends to A and C. Both A and C are in W1. But S tends to B is not accepted since B is not in W1. So B will not be included. So now you can see W2 and W1 differ. So we will try to find what is W3 is. So W3 again, it should have ACE. So you can know that ACE will be producing the same terms. And S is the start symbol which derives A and C. So you will have C. So now you can stop your process. We can see W3 is equal to W2. Hence my G dash will be equal to S, A, C and E, and my terminal symbols are A, C and E. So we'll have start symbol and we have a production rule. So what will be the production rule? I will write it over here. So the production rules are going to be S tends to AC, which are accepted, then C tends to C, A tends to A, then finally E tends to EA or E. So this is the production rule for G dash. So G dash production rule. Okay. Now we will start with the phase 2. So what is phase 2 is we have to start from the start symbol. We will try to find what are the non-terminals that can be derived from the start symbol. Yes. So Y1 is equal to S. So you have to use the G dash here. So using the grammar G dash, we are going to do that. So from the start symbol, yes, what are the, you based on the protection rule of G dash, what are the non-terminal symbols and terminal symbols that can be derived? So first Y2, so which will be having S A C, because S tends to A C, okay, because of that rule. Next thing is A implies, what A implies? A, it's a terminal symbol, so you will be having A implies A, so you will have a non-terminal terminal symbol A over here. Similarly, C implies C alone, small c, so you will have a terminal symbol C also. So there is no other protection that can be derived from S, because you can see S can derive only AC and C can derive C and A can derive A. So there is no more non-terminals and terminal symbols that can be derived from S. So we'll close Y2 calculation. You can see Y1 and Y2 are not equal, so we will try to calculate again Y3 with Y2. So with Y2 we will try to find, okay. So now this will be with Y2. So we'll see. So from the start symbol again, S tends to AC. So you will have S, A and C. All these three variables are there in Y2. Then A implies A. So you have a non-terminal in Y2 as well as A in Y2. So you can include A. Then C implies C. You can see it is also there in Y2. So we can finish the process. Now you can see Y3 is equal to Y2. So we will stop the process over here. Okay. So now we will write the context-free grammar, which is the reduced grammar CD dash. So which will be equal to S, A and C alone. Then the terminal symbols will be A and C. Okay, only A and C alone. Then my start symbol is S. Okay, then my protection rule is S tends to AC. Then A tends to small a and C tends to small c. So this is the grammar for the reduced grammar for the given protection rule. So hope you understand. So I repeat again. So the rules have been given. This is the context-free grammar. The phase one is to just find the terminal symbols that are given in the protection symbol. So the terminal symbols are going to be A, C and E. So the first set is which are the protection rules that can derive the terminal symbols. So it is going to be AA, CEC and EE. So include their non-terminal variables into W1. So the step is over. Now the W2 is going to be derived with W1. It is going to be derived with W1. So which are the non-terminals that can be derived from W1? So I will try to find the non-terminal variables. So S can derive AC. So the first rule. So I left it over. Okay. So S tends to, okay, it's over here. So first A derives the terminal C and C derives C and E derives E. So ACE will be repeated over here, and you can see the S tends to AC, which is available in W1. So that will be included. Again W2 and W1 differs, so we will repeat again. So again the same rule. So we form the first grammar, reduced grammar is this one. So now we are trying to find the next grammar which can be derived from the start symbol S. So when you do that, you can see S tends to AC, so you will have SAC. Then A derives A, so A is already in Y2, so A derives A will be included, and C derives small c, so C is no. So when you repeat this step for Y3 with Y2, the same it is derived, so Y3 and Y2 are same, so we will form the reduced grammar here. So let us see another example. So let me write the rule over here, little bit visible. So S tends to 0B and S tends to 1x, okay, and you have A tends to BA1 and A tends to 1xx, so A tends to 0 and B tends to 0SB and B tends to 1BX and X tends to SBD, okay, X tends to, so X tends to 0B0, then finally X tends to 01. So first we know what is the grammar is, so I will write the grammar over here. So the grammar is going to be, what are the non-terminal variables here? We have S, then you have A, B and you have X and you have D also. You can see D is also over here. So next one is the terminal symbols, which are going to be 0 and 1. So we have a production rule. So this is the production rule. Okay. So I don't want to put it very big. So I'll rep this. So we have the production rule and our start symbol is yes. Now we'll start with the phase 1. So the terminal symbols are going to be 0 and 1. So now we'll find the W1, which are the non-terminal variables that can derive 0, 1. So we'll write the rules first. So S tends to 0, B, 1x. So it's not deriving any terminals, but we have A tends to 0, okay, and X tends to 0, 1. So we'll include A and X in our set. So any other terminals that can be derived over here? So no, so we'll close the rules. So no other rule is deriving a terminal symbols. Others are having non-terminals in their left side or right side. So we'll close W1 over here. Now find W2 with W1. So that's your next step. So let us have W2 here. Now what I have to do here is I need to find all the production non-terminal symbols that can derive A and X. So you can see here S tends to 1x. So X is already there in W1. So you can include X. Okay. Next one is what else it can be derived. So can you derive? So you can see here A can derive BA where B is not in. B is not in. So this is not included. I'll not put right there because we have. So this is not included and this is also not included. So B is not there. So I can include A implies 1S. Okay, still S is not there in the set. So I will not include this. And A implies 0. So which is there in W1. So A0 is a terminal symbol. So you will have this. Then you can see B implies I don't have B. So no B productions will be considered. And X, you don't have anything. So X has only one production. So this production is also not done because S is not in W1, B and D is not in W1. So these three productions will not be considered. So you will have only these three rules will be considered. So what are the three rules will be considered is A implies 0, X implies 0, 1. So now I will include X. So you can see there is a difference from D1, W1 and W2. So now we will find W3 with W2. So what will be W3 is there will be no change, same these three rules because you don't have B, you don't have D and so you will not have that rule. So here this rule will be considered because S is there in W2. Similarly, other rules will not be considered. So I will write down the rules productions which are considered here. So S tends to 1x is considered, A tends to 0 is considered, X tends to 0, 1 is considered. Similarly, A tends to 1SX is considered. Okay. Why this is considered is because S is in W2. Because S is in W2. So now you will be having same S, A and X. You can see both W2 and W3 are same. So W3 and W2 is same. You can stop the process. So my G dash will be of with three terminal and non-terminal symbols, which is S, A and X. And the terminal symbols are 0 and 1 with the production rule and the start symbol S. So the production rule P will be equal to, what are the production rule? S tends to 1x, A tends to 0 and X tends to 0, 1. Then finally A tends to 1SX. Right, now we know our G dash. So we will start our phase 2 process. So phase 2. So Y1 will contain with the start symbol S. So here phase 2 we are going to work with G dash. So we are not going to use G. So we will use only G dash. So let me rub the productions which are not there in here. So I will rub all these productions. Okay, rubbing all this takes time. Oh shit. Okay, I've rubbed everything, right, fine. Now, what are the protection rules for G dash is going to be S tends to 1x and x tends to 0, 1, A tends to 1x or 0. So, this is the protection rule of G dash. So, this is the protection rule for G dash. Now, from starting symbol, what are the non-terminal symbols and terminal symbols that can be derived? So, we are going to derive non-terminal symbols and terminal symbols from G dash. Okay, so y2 is going to be, we are going to consider. So from S, I can go to S tends to 1x. So I will include S and X and the non-terminal 1. Next, I have X, so X tends to 0, 1. So 1 is already there, so I will include 0. Now, do I have A in my set? So in this y2, do I have A? No, I don't have A, so that production will not be included. So you have completed your process. So from S, I can go to X. From X, I can go to a string. So I cannot reach A, so I will stop the process over here. Now y2 and y1 are not same, so we will start y3. So derive y3 using y2. So we are going to find the same terminals and non-terminal symbols with y2. So you will see you can have only 1x and x tends to 0, 1. So the terminals and non-terminal symbols are going to be 0 and 1. So y3 is equal to y2. So your G double dash, the reduced context-free grammar, which will have non-terminal symbols x, s and x, and it will have terminal symbols 0 and 1. Start symbol is S and the protection rule. So the protection rules will be consisting of S tends to 1x and x tends to 0, 1. So this is your reduced context-free grammar for the given grammar. Right, we'll see another example, little bit of more complexity. So what are the rules here we have? I will write it down. So A tends to A, B, C, okay, then or X, B, C, C, okay. So here X tends to, it is XC, okay, it's XC. So it is XC, I'll write XC or small a capital Y C. Okay, now Y tends to B capital Y B or capital X C. Then Z tends to ZB or C. Right. First, what is the grammar given over here? We'll write the grammar. So what are the non-terminal symbols we have? A, X, Y, Z. Is there any other things? No. So you will take, it is A, X, Y, Z. Okay. And the terminal symbols are, we have A, B, C. Do we have any other things? No, we don't have any other things. So we will have, and P is the protection rule. So what will be your starting symbol here? So always the first protection rules and the first left side most non-terminal symbol, we will take it as a start symbol. So you will have it as A over here. Now phase 1. So the terminal symbols are A, B, C. So we will try to find which are the productions that can derive A, B, C. So step 1, W1 is equal to, so which are the productions that can derive A, B, C? You can see Z can derive C and no other production can derive that. So A can derive A, B, C. So I will write it here over here. So A tends to A, B, C and Z tends to C. So we'll include A and Z alone. So other things will have non-terminal in it. So it is not going to produce any string. So we will close the W1. Now calculate W2 with W1. So what is W2? Okay. So you have to derive A and Z with the help of W1. So what will be the rule? A tends to, so you can see A tends to, so I will change, okay, I'll write it over here itself. So A tends to ABC, which is accepted, so you will have A, but A tends to XBCC is not accepted since X is not in W1. Similarly, so when X is not in W1, we will not be considering the protection of X. The next one is Y. Y is also not there in my W1, so Y protection also will not be considered. So the next protection will be considered is Z tends to ZB, which is considered because B is a terminal symbol and Z is always is there in W1, it is valid, as well as Z tends to C is there. So you will have Z over here. So these are the three variables that are protection rule that are used for W2. Now you can see W1 and W2 there is no change, so you have W2 is equal to W1. So you can stop your process and we can find what is the G dash is. So the non-terminal symbols are going to be A, Z, and my terminal symbols are A, B, C. My protection rule and my start symbol is A. So what will be my protection rules? You can see what are the three strings we are considered: A, B, C. Another one is Z implies ZB and Z implies C. So now we will see the phase 2. So what are the protections that can be derived from the start symbol? So Y1 is equal to A because A is my start symbol over here. Now we are going to find Y2. What are the derivations? What are the non-terminal variables and the terminal symbols that can be derived from the start symbol A? So from the grammar G dash, okay, you will be using G dash grammar only. So using G dash, okay. So now we will see the first protection. A tends to ABC. So we will write A, small b, small c. The second one is from A I can derive only these things. I cannot derive any other thing. Okay. So there is no non-terminal variable that can be derived from A. So the process is over. You stop the process. So now Y1 and Y2 are not equal. So we will try to find Y3 using Y2. So Y3 will be equal to, again, so start symbol is A, so A will derive A, B, C. So the only protection that can be done, again, no other protections that can be used from the G dash. So you will close it. Now you can see Y3 is equal to Y2, stop the process. So my reduced CFG grammar is going to be with the non-terminal symbol with only A, and my terminal symbols are A, B, C. Okay, and my protection, sorry, I'll have my start symbol here. So my start symbol is A, and my protection rule, only protection rule is used here is ABC. So this is your reduced context-free grammar for the given context-free grammar. So okay, we will see the next example. So let me write the rules first. So we'll have S tends to 0C, S tends to SB, A tends to 1SC0, then B tends to 0SB, and B tends to 1BC, C tends to 0BC, and C tends to 01. Okay, these are the rules. So the grammar given G is going to be, what are the terminals and non-terminal symbols available? So terminal symbols are S, A, B, and C. So there is no other symbols. And what is the symbols you are used here is 01, and my protection rule and my start symbol is S. So we'll start with our phase 1 process. We will try to find the non-terminal symbols that can derive 0 and 1 from the grammar, protection grammar. So W1 is going to be equal to, so what are the rules that can derive terminal symbols? You can clearly see this rule alone derives the context-free grammar. So we'll have C tends to 01. So that is the only protection that derives the terminal symbols. Others are containing non-terminal. So you will include only C. So that is a step. Now derive W2 using W1. So what will be W2 is, so now which are the protections it can be? So we know that C implies 0, 1, so you will have C over here. Now any other protection that can derive C. So I can use this protection because it's 0G. So S tends to 0C. C is there in W1. So S will be included in W2. Can you include S implies SB? No, because B is not in W1. A is not in W1. So B is also not there in W1. But you can have C implies 0B and C implies 0, 1. But the C implies 0BC is not included because B is not in W1. So you will have only two protection rules. So you will close the rule. Now W2 and W1 are not same. So we will try to derive W3 using W2. So we will find what is W3 is. So it will be again same WS and S. So C tends to 0, 1, S tends to 0, C. Check again, S can done. No, it is not possible. So no other protections available. So here W3 is equal to W2. So my G dash is going to be with only two non-terminal symbols, S and C, with non-terminals. So terminal symbols are going to be 0 and 1. My protection rule and my start symbol, yes. So what is the protection rule we have is S tends to 0C and C tends to 0, 1. Okay, so this is the symbols. Now let me see what are the protections that can be derived. So phase 2, from the Y1, from the start symbol we have to derive all the symbols using G dash. Okay, from the G dash you are going to do that. So Y2, from S I can derive S, C and 0. So S tends to 0C means I can derive S, C and 0. So what does C can derive? C can derive 0, 1, so I can include 0, 1. So that's the rule. So Y2 and Y1 are not similar. So Y3 will be also same. So S, C, 0, 1. Okay, so C implies 0, 1 alone. Right now you can see Y3 and Y2 are similar. So my reduced grammar for the given CFG will have only two non-terminal symbols C, S and C, and terminal symbols 0 and 1. So protection rule and my start symbol. So what will be my protection rule is, you have S tends to 0C and S tends, sorry, it's C, it is C, okay, it is C tends to 0, 1. So this is your reduced grammar for the given CFG. Right, let me write a random one and we'll try to find what is it is done. Suppose we have a grammar over here. I will write my grammar G is equal to, so the terminal symbols that are going to be is S, A, B, C, D and E, a little bit more number of things. And similarly the symbols what we can have is, we will have A, B, C and E. We'll have it like this, and we'll have some protection rule and start symbol is S. So what will be the protection rule? P is going to be S. So we'll write the protection rule here. S tends to capital A, capital B, and we'll have a small a. Okay, then B, C, C. Right. Next one is B tends to B, C, C. Okay, then we can have another C tends to CA, then D tends to E, and A tends to A capital C or B, E, E or A. Then finally you can have E tends to E. So you can see now this is an example with more number of rules, right? So this is a grammar and we have to reduce this grammar. So let me start with the rule. So we'll see phase 1. So what is your phase 1 is? Phase 1. So the terminal symbols. So here the terminal symbols are going to be A, B, C and E. Now we will find W1 that we are going to find the non-terminal variables that can derive A, B, C, E. Okay, so the first one is not deriving any terminal symbols. The second one, B, is deriving. So capital B derives small b, C, C. So you will have B in my set. Second one, C derives only non-terminal, D derives non-terminal, A derives AC, it's a non-terminal, again B, C, but it derives AE. So I can have A implies A. So I will include A over here. Then finally I have E. So E implies E. So you will have E over here. So all the terminal symbols are derived using these three terminal symbols. Now using W1 we will find, okay, W1 we will find W2. Okay, so now W2 with this non-terminal variables that are available in W1 we have to try. So try to find which are the productions that can derive B, A, E. So when you take the first rule, we have A, B. So I'll write it over here. S tends to capital A, B and small a. Both A and B are in W1. So I can include S, A and B. Right. So what are the other terminals? B tends to BCC. So B is there in my W1. So I can include B. C is not there. So you will not consider C. Similarly, D is not there. So you will not consider D. And A tends to AAC. So you will include that rule. So you will have, but A tends to AAC, which is not included because C is not in W1. So this I will not consider, but so I will rub this rule because we need it for other process. So I will rub this rule over here. So we'll see the second rule for A. So A tends to capital B, EE. Capital B is there in W1, so A is included, and A tends to A. So these are the rules that are accepted. Okay, so that is done. Then finally you will have E tends to E over here. So you will have E also. So you can see W1 and W2 are not same. So using W2, find W1, W3. So we will find W3 here. So the same set of rules will be applicable. So you will have not change anything. So S, A, B, E only. So only thing is whether S can have any other protection. Yes, S can have another protection. You can see S as ABA and then BCC also. So it can also have S tends to BCC. Okay, because B is also there in my rule. So this is the final rule we have. So we'll form the reduced grammar G dash. So which will have S, A, B, E, and the non-terminal symbols are A, B, C and E. My production rule and my start symbol. So production rule P is going to be S tends to A, B, A or B, C, C, and B tends to B, C, C, and finally you will have A tends to B, E, E or A, then finally you will have E tends to E. So this is the protection rule we have. So we will see phase 2, which are the non-terminal symbols and terminal symbols that can be derived from the starting symbol. So Y1 is going to be equal to S. So use G dash grammar. So I am going to using G dash grammar, I am going to find Y2. So which are the terminals and non-terminal symbols that can be derived from S. So first the symbol is S tends to A, B, A. So you will have S and A and B and the terminal A. The second production is S tends to B, C, C. So you have B, only C should be included, C is included. Then next one is B tends to B, C, C. So you will have small b, B is also there in my set, right? So what is the next rule we will have is A tends to B, E, E. So you will have E over here. So A tends to B, E, E. A is there. Then finally A tends to A. A is already there in the set. And do we need E tends to E over here? Because already E is derived. There is no other variable that can be derived from S, because S is derived from A, B. So for A and B I have done. There is no E in my Y2. So E2, sorry, E derives E is not included in Y2. Why? Because E is not derived from S. Okay, so it is not derived from S, not from. So this is not included in my process. So you will close Y2. So now similarly Y3, you can see that will be no change, only these rules will be there. So A, you will have C and B and E. You can see Y3 is equal to Y2. So my reduced grammar G dash will have the non-terminal symbols S, A and B, and my terminal symbols are A, C, B and E. Then you have start symbol S, okay, and you have production rules. So what will be the production rule for the reduced grammar is S tends to A, B, A or B, C, C. Next one is B tends to B, C, C. Then finally A tends to capital B, E, E or A. So this is the reduced grammar for the given context-free grammar. I hope I have given enough examples. So we have seen how to reduce the context-free grammar. In the next session, we'll be seeing about how to remove the null productions and how to remove the unit productions from the context-free grammar. Thank you.